Sydney Airport's huge job cuts. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Now the media is reporting on Sydney Airport and their huge job cuts which amount to nearly a quarter of their workforce, and some letters have been leaked from the CEO of Sydney Airport. Now before we go through this, let's just have a look at some photos that a gentleman posted on Twitter. And Hugh here. Sydney Domestic Airport at 5 p.m. on a weekday. Normally heaving with Sydney-Melbourne commuters, one of the busiest routes in the world. Now dead as a doornail. This is not getting any less shocking as time goes on. I mean, there you go. Look at that, everyone. If you've been to Sydney, if you've done the Sydney-Melbourne-Brisbane route, that's just shocking. That is just utterly shocking. I don't think of this when I think of Sydney, or going to the airport, or travelling there. I think of hustle, bustle, flat-out commuters. We jump over here. We can have a look at their share price. Now, their dividend yield, we'll see if it lasts, is 6.95%. Their 52-week high was $9.07, and their 52-week low was $4.26. In Feb, they were around $8.30, then they crashed down, and now they're sitting at $5.45. And at the moment, they're slightly down. I'll do an update. $5.43. Now, if we jump here, let's have a look and go through the letter that was leaked and sent by the CEO to his team. Thank you to everyone who dialed in this morning. Well, that just shows you, doesn't it? The purpose of this note is to make sure everyone who wasn't on the call hears from me first what's happening today. On the call a few minutes ago, I shared some sad and difficult news. We've spoken a lot over the past few months about the impact the pandemic crisis has had on us here at Sydney Airport. You would have seen through our recent financial results the scale of that impact. In the last 6 months, we've lost $52 million. And most of those losses happened between April and June. We're burning through millions of dollars every month at a time when there isn't any clarity on the pathway to the recovery, and that's a situation that's not sustainable. And that's the biggest thing we're seeing repeated again and again. The pathway out of this. It doesn't seem to be mentioned. Just, be lucky, guys. You're only getting pushed for a 6-month lockdown, not a 12-month lockdown. No discussion about recovery. No discussion about plans. And that's an uncertainty in a lot of business. It's an uncertainty and a difficulty for the business sector. As a consequence of the ongoing impact of the pandemic and the lack of any clarity on when our industry will start to recover, we've had to make some really hard decisions. Qantas was saying they wouldn't expect at least a portion of international travel to return until the middle of next year. Now we've got another video coming up, another one I looked at, where Blackmore, a vitamin company, are firing 10% of their workforce in Australia and New Zealand. Because tourism has taken a hit. And nearly a quarter of their vitamin sales here in Australia and NZ is from Chinese tourists. Seems insane, doesn't it? But it just shows you how one decline in one industry can just ripple through the economy, and it takes time to happen. It takes time to happen. Today, I'm announcing a restructure that will impact 118 roles across the organisation, which equates to around 22% of our total workforce. Included in that number are some employees who are on our enterprise agreement, and their consultation period will commence tomorrow. Now, right at the moment today, you can see here are other images. This is what's happening at Sydney Airport right now. So there are crowds at Sydney Airport. There are crowds. They're unionists protesting. They're protesting because, Qantas is outsourcing 2,500 jobs. I mean, that's the thing. There's people who are frustrated and fed up and who are going to lose their jobs. This is what happens in a recession, everyone. This is what happens. This is the price that we're paying for the lockdowns. It's damaging the economy. This is such a tough decision, and one I hoped we would never have to make. No one who loses their job today deserves that outcome. We've fought hard for every job, and we hoped we would never be in this position. But the circumstances have overcome us, and for that I'm truly sorry. So how we approach this decision. I'll try my best to read this, but there's some words that are cut off here. I want to let you know that the three key principles we followed in making the decision that we've made. The first principle is that we need to reduce costs. We are currently operating the business at a loss of roughly $20 million a month. We need to reduce costs to reduce the operating loss. It's an obvious point, but I want to be clear about that. The second principle is that our organization needs to reflect the activity at the airport. And once again, I'll bring up this. Nope, hang on, that's an article I want to look at later. I'll bring up these images here. And one thing I may also jump, we can have a look. We can have a look here at just some air traffic, everyone. We can see once it loads up how much air traffic is actually coming into Sydney. I mean, it looks busy. But then again, how many of these? Look at these. These are all tiny planes. They don't really count, do they? Where are the... One big plane? Zero? Okay. Yeah. That's dead. That's dead. Wow. Here's one. Coming in. Here's one. From Auckland. So we need to face into the reality that for the foreseeable future, passenger numbers will be extremely challenged. We are currently down over 95% on passengers, and we don't see that changing in the near term. We cannot sustain an organization that is built to service 44 million passengers per year when we are handling less than 10% of that. This extends to the significant reduction in the capital investment and growth plans we have across the airport. Coming into the pandemic, we had a CapEx budget of between 400 and 600 million a year. Now that is going to flow through to the construction industry. I've done work here at the Brisbane airport. Actually, I've done a few projects. I did some. My first job was for an architectural practice that did a whole lot of jobs out near the airport in the warehouse. You know, Australian Air Express. They did a little factory fit out there. I worked on that as a student architect. And most recently, as my own architectural practice, we worked on the extension to the fire station on the air side at a Brisbane airport. So we're now looking at an annual spend of between 100 to 125 million. See, so that's $500 million down for the construction sector in Sydney. Don't tell me that isn't a big chunk of change. Our organization is currently structured around project pipeline that is 4 to 5 times larger than our new reality, and that's unsustainable. Thirdly, as far as possible, we wanted to show loyalty to people who have been with us for a long time. There are people who have been loyal to the airport for a large part of their career, if not their entire career, and we've tried to honor that loyalty. Many of these people are our frontline workers in terminals and on the airfields, and we've tried to keep the impact to those teams at a minimum. Changes to our structure. The new structure I'm announcing reflects the reality of what we're facing and is outlined as follows. I've also included the new structure chart attached to this note, and that wasn't released. So let's have a look at how the media is reporting on this. We'll jump here and we'll have a look at this article from, we'll go the news.com first. Nearly a quarter of staff at the Sydney airport will be made redundant after the pandemic wreaked havoc on the travel industry. In an email to staff seen by NCA Newswire, CEO Jeff Colbert said, with no clarity on when travel might return to normal, current losses of 20 million each month, the business has been forced to make some really hard decisions. Nothing really additional here. So anything else? Sydney Airport had given a 6-month job guarantee to its employees in April, but announced it could not continue the guarantee after September as a dip in travel began taking its toll in July. Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. These employment guarantees, they're not worth anything. Seriously. At least they're making the decision with enough time to hopefully ensure people are provided with the entitlements they've accrued, which essentially is part of their wage that their employer has held aside for them. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys. Are you working in the airport industry? Are you involved in Sydney? Or are you involved in construction? And those projects that you might have had a shot on, well, that CapEx, that's $500 million less CapEx in Sydney. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. If you're a fan and want to support the channel, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy a merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.